position, but the silver and blue Black Falcon car, he was outgunned into turn one by the Conrad entry of Dennis Olsen, the double win-up from the opening round at Hockenheim. A tight squeeze into the first corner, but it was also making the best start, which would prove to be decisive as he got ahead of Engelhardt with Michael Ammermuller just behind in third place. Franz Conrad absolutely delighted with his Norwegian driver for getting such a good start. The two Project One teammates then battling for fifth place. Nick Yaloli on board with him now, the British driver, battling away with his teammate Larry Ten Vorda. And then he got a bit too tight going into turn three, and there was contact, and spun around was Nick Yaloli. Nick Yaloli going round, quickly recovering and dropping a few positions. His teammate would pick up a drive-through penalty from the stewards as a result of that. But the battle of the race was this one, as Christopher Zosting, after lap behind Tommy Priding, finally made his way through with a very good pass. Those two were battling for fourth position the whole race through. Here's the view back from Dennis Olsen as he fended off again for lap after lap Christian Engelhardt. You had Michael Ammermuller right behind as well. The top three were nose to tail for 18 laps of the race, more or less. A glance there, a glancing blow coming out of the last turn. Dennis Olsen, though, got his foot down, and after 18 laps of racing, almost 25 minutes, there was just 1/10 of a second between them, but it was Dennis Olsen that took his third victory on the bounce. That's 3 wins out of 3 now for the Norwegian. Second place going the way of Christian Engelhardt, and Michael Ammermuller was third in yesterday's race. So those highlights of the first race yesterday. The grid for this one is going to be different to yesterday's grid because it's based on second fastest lap times. So Christian Engelhardt once again will be on pole position, and there he is, the 29-year-old Bavarian who has come into this championship with Black Falcon, the very experienced GT team coming into the Porsche Carrera Cup for the first time. They'll be looking for their first win. Alex, the team you know well because you are part of the Black Falcon outfit.
Yeah, exactly. It's my team for the endurance, for my endurance career, let's say like that. Racing with them VLN and 24 Hours Nürburgring, and we also race together in Dubai. So a really good team. It's the first time or the first year they are challenging the Porsche Carrera Cup in this sprint mode. But the moment we see they are looking good, so already their second race already in the pole, and the chief podium yesterday with Christian Engelhardt, so it's looking good for them.
Absolutely, yeah, and a great drive with Christian Engelhardt, 3 times a runner-up in the championship. First front row starting position of the year for Christopher Zosling, who had that great battle with Tommy Priding yesterday. I caught up with Christopher this morning, and he loved the battle. He said, I really enjoyed that. He said, it's so hard to pass around here, though, as you see Michael Ammermuller, who was third on the grid and third in yesterday's race. Yeah, Christopher Zosling saying it's so hard to pass here. You go off the line and it was so dusty. We saw that with a lot of slow-mo shots, that any driver going offline was kicking up a lot of dust. And he said really turn one was the only place, and Tommy was defending really well. So he was pleased to get through. He said today, hopefully, I'll be the one defending first position. That would be ideal. He's going well in the championship, Christopher Zosling, in third place overall. There then is the driver that leads the championship. 3 wins out of 3. He's got a maximum score of 75 points. He is well clear of Michael Ammermuller, who's second in the championship on 56. Dennis Olsen caught up with him yesterday, and he said he knew after a point that he wasn't going to be able to get away from Christian Engelhardt or Michael Ammermuller, so he decided to just concentrate on not making any mistakes. And it was that slightly better start that he had that proved decisive in the end. He said, Christian, he said, you know, he gave me a tiny little push through the last corner, but it was nothing too bad. He said, I knew he'd have to really launch a big attack and take me out if he wanted to come past, and so I wasn't prepared to over-defend. So there you've seen the top 4 on the grid, the top 5, because Tommy Priding starting 5th, yesterday's top rookie once again. The young Austrian having come up through the Formula 4 Championship. Here is Nick Yaloli, the driver from Solihull, who was twice a top 6 finisher in the GP3 Championship. He's here with the Project One Deutsche Post team. And then we have Gabriella Piano, who's coming into the championship for the first time this season, also with a good qualifying position starting on the 4th row of the grid. The Italian from Biella, who's come up through VLN racing and the Nürburgring 24-hour championship race as well, the big 24-hour race which is happening next week. He's done some Supersport Cup racing in Porsches as well, Gabriella Piano. So another quick Italian coming into the championship. So they can see the heat haze coming through. And you were with the Project One team, weren't you? So they're a top team in this championship. They've been used to a lot of success over the years and taken championship titles, most recently with Philip Henger, you raced against in 2015. But they've got 2 youngish drivers coming through now, and it'll take a little time for them to get used to the cars.
Yeah, I mean, they had already Nick Jedoli and David Coleman. They raced already last year, so they have 1 year of experience. And we see this in Nick Jedoli this year a runner-up. He's pretty much in the top 10, top 7 positions. Yeah, like you were saying, it was my team as a race in Carrera Cup. I was teaming with Philip and Matteo Caroli and Sean Johnston. And it was a really good team, learned a lot those years, but it's like you were saying, Carrera Cup is a difficult championship. You always need a year and a half till you get into the car. We were talking also yesterday, it's a really hard car to drive. When you learn or when you know how to drive this car fast and good, then when you sit in a GT3 or even another car, you are straight fast, because it gives you a lot of knowledge how to behave with the weight, the transfer of the weight, to turn the car, to rotate, and so on. So it was a good learning year and good progress I made.
You still have that? You still drive that Porsche, the same Porsche, don't you?
Yeah, I'm still driving the Porsche. I will drive the same car, this new model next weekend on the Nordschleife. We've been there with Black Falcon, the first team who set the car in the Nordschleife, and it will be the first time this car will hit the 24 hours Nürburgring. So I'm happy to take part, to be part of this project, and let's see how it's going. I will tell you in 7 days and 6-7 hours.
You're still awake?
Yeah, I'm still awake, yeah.
But you've got quite a good record set. It's 3 24 hours and 3 wins, isn't it, so far? 3 class wins with Dubai.
Two. Yeah. So I just did 2 24 hours in my life. 24 hours Nürburgring last year and won it straight away, and 24 hours Dubai and won it straight away. So I would just want to get the crown and try next week to do my third 24 hours ever and win my third 24 hours. So that will be a really good result for me.
Fantastic, yeah. And you see the grid there, the starting grid, the full top 10. And yeah, these cars definitely have longevity. In the British Porsche Carrera Cup, the Porsche Carrera Cup GB, Dan Camish has dominated the championship for the last couple of years. He sold his car, because there's quite a high market for cars with track days, so he sold his championship-winning car. But actually this year he's driving the same championship but with an older car. It's still quick. It's a 2015 model car, and he's still dominating the championship, at least winning the championship. Had a very good start to the year. Once again, he's racing at Alton Park this weekend for the British Touring Car Championship package. So the car's on their formation lap. It's going to be another 18-lap race. We've got 24 cars on the grid, a very healthy grid of cars indeed. It is going to be critically about the start of the race, isn't it, Alex? Because as Christopher Zosling was saying yesterday, it's not that easy to overtake around here because the cars are so evenly matched.
Yeah, exactly. The cars are so even that it's really hard to get. You need to. The main point where you can overtake is the straight line, where you have to really get a good run out of the last corner and try to get the top of the car in front and then pull the movement away in the first corner on the brakes. But like you were saying, the cars are so even, so similar together that it's not easy to get that movement away.
There you can see the track layout, anti-clockwise circuit here. It's a tri-oval which was built in 2000 when IndyCar racing came to Europe. So it's not a traditional oval, it's just got the 3 high-speed banked corners. They use part of the circuit, they dip in and out of it, but there is a more traditional road circuit on the infield which they use. So they're on the banking now, they turn off before they get to turn 1 of the tri-oval, cut that corner down the infield through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then they rejoin the circuit briefly, the tri-oval, and then turn off it again through the infield before rejoining for the last banked corner, which takes a lot of speed. They can see it just in the background of your shot as the last driver, Ronja Assmann, she lines up in her number 41 Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car, ready to go. 450 plus brake horsepower of car, ready to go racing here at the Euro Speedway. We've got the red lights on. As soon as they go out, we're going to get underway. Can Christian Engelhardt get a better start this time from pole position to the left of your picture? Yes, he can. That's a very good start. Christopher Zosling is away well also. And it's going to be side by side for third place. Mikael Muller is in the middle of a Conrad sandwich. He's going to have to be brave on the brakes. He just about gets there in time and filters through. Tommy Pryny making a decent start as well. Project One Cars has gone off, I'm afraid, and out is the number 14 machine of Marius Nacken, and it's Larry Ten Voorde that he came together with. So, Larry, how we go? Turbulent weekend so far, I'm afraid, with one thing and another. As Christopher Zosling shows his nose, as I look down the inside of Christian Engelhardt here early on. That's on the way into the left-hander at turn 6 as they come back off the oval into this sweeping right-hander at turn 7. They will now go. Yaloli looks like he's made a decent start to the race as well, as the rest of them filter their way through. But Christopher Zosling is looking for his first win of the season here. He's going to try and get past the 3-time runner-up in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland Can he do it? The Swiss driver based in Bristol in the UK gets very close as they go to the left-hander, putting a lot of pressure on Christian Engelhardt here, but Christian will be desperate to get a win for his new team, and Black Falcon desperate to get their first win in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. So there are the top three, absolutely together, working their way through the field. Dennis Olsen has won all the races so far, but he's fourth at the moment, and that is a broken Wolf Nitan car, the driver that's one of the front runners in Class B for the amateur drivers. Looks like the radiator has been cracked as well. Fluid is leaking on the circuit. The top three, top four go through. Meanwhile, Dennis Olsen spoke to him this morning, saying that you're just going to try and pick up some points today. You can't win all the races, as we see Naken's wounded car dragging its way back to the pits. The safety car is going to be deployed, so the safety car is waiting to pick them up, because the number 9 Porsche, which we saw of Wolf Nitan, is stranded just on the edge of the circuit. So that's on the way into the left-hander at turn 6 as they come off the tri-oval. They're about to get to that point now. You'll see it in your shots in a second. To the right there it is, right on the edge of the circuit, so that's in a precarious position. So Wolf Nitan, the likeable Dutchman, I'm afraid, is already out of the race. But Alex, perfect start for Christian Engelhardt. He didn't make a terrible start yesterday, but Dennis Olsen showed him the way into turn 1. So Christian, a lot of pressure really, because he knew how important it was to get a good start in this race.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday I talked to Black Falcon. They had some issue in the clutch of the car. That's why he lost this bit of time on the start.
Right.
And today looks like everything it's working right. So really good start from Christian Engelhardt. Definitely, we will see now an old school battle with Christian Engelhardt, Christopher Zöckling, Michael Armour. We see now the car jumping straight off the lines. Really good traction, and not having that issue he had yesterday with the clutch. Like I was saying, we will see now a really good battle between the old school Christian Engelhardt, Christopher Zöckling, and Michael Ammermüller. 3 guys, plenty of experience. I also raced together with them in 2015 when I did Carrera Cup, and also we see now the crash in the back with Marius Nacken and Larry ten Voorde.
At a turn 1, wasn't it?
Marius Nacken was in the inside.
Bit unlucky there, actually. It was 3 abreast, weren't they?
From my point of view, Larry ten Voorde ran a bit of area. He went too much to the left, and then he had a sandwich with Gabriele Piana and Vicino. Also, from my point of view, he should have left a little bit more. It was already outside. Yeah, he pushed too much to the left and squeezed all the cars together. So
yeah, trying to avoid putting 2 wheels on the grass, but maybe you should have gone for that option. Then again, you only have a tenth of a second to think about these
this
things,
situation, it's better you keep driving straight. Even if you go on the grass, you will not lose massively. But if you try to keep to the left, all the cars are coming out of the corner with the speed, and it's really, if you squeeze to the left, we see also now Wolfgang Nathan.
Actually went over the curbs, didn't he, and then spun around the other amateur driver, Jorn Schmidt-Startup, but broke his car in the process. But that was Wolf having to take to the grass and the curbs, and then getting out of shape, and then spearing into the side of the number 12 car. He was rather disconsolate about all of that. And Wolf Nitan, his car coming to a halt a little bit after that, 2 corners after that. So the safety car has peeled in. We're about to go racing again, and leading the way, Christian Engelhardt, Christopher Zöckling, 2nd place, Michael Ammermüller in 3rd, Dennis Olsen, the championship leader, in 4th. Christopher Zöckling very good on the brakes on the way to turn 1. He was a couple of lengths back. He's now right underneath the rear wing of the race leader, and looking determined. The very likeable Christopher Zöckling, who always seems to be very relaxed and chilled out when you see him in the pits chatting to the paddock, chatting to other drivers, and very competitive driver though, and getting better and better with each and every year in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. Christian Engelhardt, who's leading the race, is his 10th season now driving these cars, having come up initially through single-seaters in the Formula BMW Championship. So Christopher Zöckling pushing hard, and so far this year, every race has been won by the driver starting 2nd on the grid. That's been Dennis Olsen 3 times so far. Dennis 4th on the grid this time. Zöckling is the one 2nd on the grid. Can he keep that trend going and get a win here? It's not going to be for the want of trying, is it? He's trying absolutely everything here. Looking to the inside, looking to the outside, putting all sorts of pressure on. He's got to be careful not to leave the door open, because when you're in a group like this, Alex, if you've got 2 or 3 cars behind you, if you try a move and it doesn't work, you can lose your own position.
Yeah, exactly. This is now we see a battle between P1 and P6 of the grid, and exactly, if you now make a mistake, you will drop. You can be in the front of the pack and you will drop probably immediately to the rear of the pack, so you need to be really careful not to do any mistake. And if you go for an overtake, you have to be sure it's gonna be done. If not, like we were saying, you can really not even win a position, so lose more.
Yeah. Top 6 together then. Engelhardt, Zosling, Ammermuller, the top 3. Olsen, the points leader, in 4th place. Yeloli going well in 5th position. 6th place, Tommy Preining lost a position to Yeloli off the line. And then a bit of a gap back to the next group, 3 seconds back. The second group in 7th place, leading that one out. He made a good start as well, I noticed, off the line. Luca Rettenbacher and then Gabriela Piana, number 4, in 8th place. 9th and 10th then, you've got the number 17 car of Max van Splunter, and he's gained a position. And in 10th place, Henrik Skoog, who has also gained a couple of positions to be in the top 10. Ryan Cullen had a difficult day yesterday, got some contacts placed upon him in the race. He's just outside the top 10 in 11th place. Wolfgang Triller is not, for once, leading the Class B standings. The reigning champion is actually second in the class in 16th place overall. And the driver that leads the way in that respect is Carlos Rivas, who got onto the podium in the Class B entry yesterday. So Rivas, Trilling, and then third in the AM category is Matthias Jesserich in the Huber racing car. So that's the way it stands in that category. Fast drivers, great shot there as they whiz past the wall. 126s, mid 126s they are doing. It's right in the middle of the race. It seemed to be the sweet spot for really quick lap times yesterday. Slightly longer race yesterday of 24 laps. Engelhardt just 0.4 of a second clear of Zosling. You can see how he closes up under braking though. One thing that Christopher said to me this morning, though, was that you can't really try and move around the outside into turn 1, Alex, because the corner tightens up. There's not much runoff on the way out of the corner.
No, it's not an easy corner. Even if you, for example, locked and you lose the apex of the corner, you have a runoff area, but the runoff area is all around the oval of the circuit, so it's really not worth to lose your brakes and miss the corner. If not, you will lose a lot of time too, because you need to go all around the oval and you lose massively time and positions on a race.
Yeah, unless you get a real huge toe. But even then, Christopher was saying that the toe of the straight's not that long that you get a really good toe. So it's all having to be done on the brakes. They're just edging away slightly now from Ammermuller in 3rd place. Dennis Olsen has just set the fastest first sector of the lap so far, though, and gained only a tenth on those ahead of him. They're all lapping very, very similar lap times. As you can see, 125.987 for the leader, 125.999 for second place, and then very low 126s for the group behind, just falling away ever so slightly. So Loschling now trying to get a run again. He's giving himself a bit more freedom here, perhaps, to try some different lines, because they are definitely pulling away from Ammermuller, Olsen, Yeloli and Preining in 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th positions. We're at 1/4 race distance. Can't quite get close enough coming onto the straight. That's the problem, isn't it? He needs to be closer coming onto the straight. He's about 2 lengths back, and by the time he gains that ground back, they're already into the corner at turn 1.
Yeah, we see Christian Engelhardt is having a really good last sector, so I think this is why Christopher Söckling is struggling to get a good run on the main straight. And then we also see Ammermuller is now focusing a bit more in blocking the position to Dennis Olsen. We have some yellow flag in sector 3, so corner 3.
Yes, it's again green delay.
So yeah, we're seeing Ammermuller is now focusing now on Dennis Olsen to block the position, and he's losing a bit this rhythm to Christopher Söckling.
And that was the Henrik Skoog, number 20 car, running wide. And just behind him, Ryan Cullen making a move on David Cockman there to squeeze through. So Cullen will be 11th now.
So we'll see. I think we will see also some nice battle between Michael Ammermuller, Dennis Olsen and Nick Gialloli. And Thomas Preining is now joining as well the party. So I believe Dennis Olsen doesn't want to stay in 4th place. He wants to achieve another podium. So we'll definitely go for an overtake maneuver into Ammermuller if he has the chance.
Absolutely. So half a second between the top two. It's never been much more than that. 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second all the way through, and at times they've been nose to tail. Nick Gialloli there in the 93 car, who's picked up points in every race. Despite them being spun around yesterday, still managed to get a decent result. As we see some contact on the way to turn 1. That's 17, the blue and white Max van Splunteren car, getting very close to Gabriela Piana. locked the front left, came from quite a long way back. There was contact there. Piana did what he said and tried not to close the door too much into the corner, but then had to take to the grass and ended up losing the position. So that will be down to 9th place. Christian Engelhardt having set the fastest lap of the race now with a 1:25.651 last time around. Just to give himself a slight bit of breathing space here. Good battles going on further back in the top 10 as well. There's David Coltman and Ryan Cullen still having a battle here for 11th place, trying to get themselves up into the top 10. Cullen in the number 26 car, the Irish driver, out for a second season in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, but a very experienced Porsche racer in other championships internationally as well. So here we see Engelhardt, 8 laps done, just eking out that gap now, 0.7 of a second clear of Zosling, doing a fantastic job to stretch his legs. Amma Muller is only 0.2 of a second clear of Olsen, but still holding on to the final spot on the podium. Slowly and Preining on a very similar pace as well. Ryan Cullen having a big go down the inside here onto the curbs, but that puts him on the outside line for the exit and turn 2. So once again, David Coltman fending him off. Really good battle going on here. 11th and 12th. Cullen got ahead for a point. A couple of laps to go, but he's back down into 12th place now.
See now, Muller is making a fastest first sector, so it probably is maybe catch back again. Christopher Söckler and Christian Engelhardt, so still everything is open for a change of positions. While we focus now in the battle for P8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 with Gabriele Piana, Henry Skook, Max van Splunteren and David Coltman.
And Wolfgang Triller is now 4.8 seconds rather clear of the 42 car of Matthias Jeserik, so cementing second place, but still quite a long way back, 1.5 seconds back on the Class B leader, which is the number 6 Carlos Rivas car. So at the moment, Black Falcon are on for the overall win and also for a Class B win, because they both come from Black Falcon team, Christian Engelhardt and Carlos Rivas, 1st and 14th, but both leading their respective classes. Yesterday, Alex, we saw the Michelin tyres really did hold up. They didn't lose too much pace towards the end of the race, but it is a longer race today. It's 24 laps rather than 18.
Yeah, the lap is today there's 35 minutes race, so it's 34 laps, but the temperature is higher than yesterday, definitely. Even if we are earlier in the morning, we already feel that. So we might see some driver maybe struggling towards the end of the race a bit with the tire, but nevertheless Michelin tire is a really good tire. They have a really good performance, and they usually don't degrade too massively, but can be that with this temperature, if you are pushing too much at the beginning of the race, you might have some struggle at the end to keep the tires in a good life.
There we can see Carlos Rivas at the head of the group there with the silver and gold stripe. That's the leader of the class. He's in 14th place overall. Behind him he's got a Class A driver, which is Richard Gonda. He's the Slovakian in 15th place, and 16th then, one behind, is Wolfgang Triller, number 13, seconds in class. Back of this lead group of 6. Tommy Preining is just falling away from them a little bit in the second of the turquoise, white and blue Conrad's cars. There is Dennis Olsen, his teammate, who leads the championship. They're in 4th place. He's slightly resigned to the fact that he probably wasn't going to win 4 races on the trot from 4th on the grid. But as I say, he had to pick up points. There's Sven Muller, who won the championship to the left of your picture, won the championship last year in the Porsche Super Cup and got his maiden GT Masters victory yesterday in a Porsche. He's racing another 1 hour GT Masters race today. And we come through the Porsche Junior scheme, which, amongst others, Tommy Preining has come through. It's on a 1-year deal, and if you impress and do a good job, they'll continue that support for another season. But without that, a lot of these drivers wouldn't be able to find the funds and the backing to be able to compete in this very high level of sport. There is Tommy Preining, started to come back at them a little bit now, and getting himself back onto the tail of Nick Yololi. He had dropped back a couple of lengths, but he's almost back with them now. So fastest first sector of the lap for anybody so far has just gone to Michael Ammermuller with a 28.4, so he's gained a 10th back on Zosling, but he's just about half a second behind him, trying to close that gap once again, edging away from Olsen, Yololi and Preining there, who you see in 4th, 5th and 6th positions. Nick Yololi in the yellow white and black Deutsche Post Project 1 car, which is slightly different livery to previous years, same colour scheme, but slightly different look to the car. And then we have, away from this league group, in 7th place, it's still Luca Rettenbacher hanging on to the position, actually pulling away now from the 8th place car of Gabriele Appiano, the Italian driver, who in turn has got a second and a half gap back to Henrik Skog in 9th place, and still in 10th, Max van Splunteren in the 17 car. We've still got Kolkman from Cullen for 11th and 12th, and that gap opening up now, so the gap growing between them.
We just saw Christian Engelhardt the last 2 laps. He did the fastest lap of the race, and that gave him now a gap of 1.3 seconds to Christopher Söckling, so some fresh air for him, some space between the 2 first drivers of the race. So now we have the position are a little bit standing. We just have possibly a battle between Thomas Prynin and Mick Jelloli and Dennis Olsen, which are really close together. Well, we have Amme Muller, which is also 1 second behind Christopher Söckling. So solid 3, first position of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the pace from yesterday's race, the fastest laps were in the mid 125s for most of the front runners. So low 125s, faster pace. As we see the damaged and retired now Manius Nacken car, who looks very distraught about all of that. Missing the chance to pick up more experience and more points to win the championship. Also out of the race after contact with Jorn Schmidt-Stahl. Those two came together, so we've had 3 retirees so far in the race. Here we go, on the way back down into turn 1. This is the 17 car of Max van Splunteren having a real battle with David Kolkman, holding on to his place, but only just. This is the battle for 11th spot, and Ryan Cullen might be able to catch them back up here if they start battling one another. He had lost about a second to them, but I think Ryan very quickly will get back onto the tail of this fight if they start to hold each other up, especially at turn 1, by either over-attacking or over-defending. So Ryan Cullen, who also lives near Christopher Söckling in Bristol, the Irish driver, who was in his 2nd season in this championship, but raced prior to that in the Porsche Carrera Cup GB and got quite a few top 10 finishes that year. Like Nick Jelloli, has also raced in GP3, Ryan Cullen, so plenty of experience. Formula Ford before that, plenty of experience in single-seaters before coming into Porsches. Ryan just in the background, you can see the number 26 car. Very hopeful to get himself into the top 10. The flashing of the lights to try and distract the driver ahead, coming from Kolkman in the number 16 car, another of the Project 1 entries. Got different liveries, mainly an all-white car, but he is teammates to Nick Jelloli and Larry Ten Border. So about halfway into the race, 125.3s. Christian Engelhardt's pace is so consistent, isn't he? That's something he's been a trademark of his really over the years. He's able to keep that speed going all the way through the race, which is why he's now almost 2 seconds clear of Söckling.
Yeah, he struggled a bit at the beginning of the race. Max Splunteren now locking the tires. He will lose the position to David Kolkman. Yeah, but he struggled a bit at the beginning of the race, and maybe he was caring about the tires a bit because he knows it's a long race and it's warm, and now he's able to use the fresh of the tires and put the hammer down and have a consistent lap times in the 25s. We see now the lockup front left, see all the smoke, trying to do into the ABS style with the brake, with either left foot or right foot, depends which you are braking. Yeah, like we were talking before, not so much place where to run off. So yeah, Christian Engelhardt is making good lap times now, so he's giving him the chance to pull to make a gap with Söckling. Oh, Philip Sagar lost in the car in the brakes.
Oof, I say almost
clipping his teammate.
Oof, that was very close. It was almost, as you say, 2 teammates out together there. Just avoided contact with one another. So we saw that huge lockup for Max van Splunteren. That will presumably now put a flat spot on the tyre. Will he get some vibration from that? Yeah. Usually depends how big is the flag pot. As far as we've seen, it was quite a decent one. So it will put some vibration on your steering wheel. It's not something really big, but you need to really take care also in the upcoming brakes, because you have already this flat spot, this flat side on the tire, and then you brake. It's not, the tire is not round anymore, so it goes again on the same spot, and you have the chance to keep locking and making this flat spot bigger and bigger. So you need to take care in the next braking not to brake too hard,
that you get again in this flat spot.
Yeah.
Then you can, after a few corners, you can start to brake again harder because the tire got round a little bit again.
Yeah.
But 2-3 corners after you have to take care to not brake too hard. If not, you will clip this flat side of the tire again.
Just looking further down the timing screen at the top three who are together now, 15th, 16th and 17th. Well, together in terms of position, not together on the track, still some gaps between them, but not much of one. That's coming down. So Carlos Rivas is 15th, car number 6. He still leads Class B, but Wolfgang Trilling has now got up to 16th place and 0.3 of a second behind, so he's closing that gap. There's a big gap of 6.5 seconds back to third in the category though, which is 42 Matthias Jeserik. Fourth in the Class B entry is Chito Preciosa. Is Stefan Reckhoff in the Chito Preciosa car. That's car number 33.
You see Dennis Olsen attacking Michael Müller now, trying to push for that third position, last step on the podium.
75 points leads the championship. Michael Amamala, the driver ahead of him, is the driver that is his closest rival in the championship on 56 points. Amamala was actually on pole position for both of the races in the opening round at Hockenheim, but both times Dennis Olsen was able to find a way past him, not off the start, but later on into the race. So Michael he's had a good season so far. He's fourth in the championship last year, but he knows he needs to start taking some points back away from Dennis Olsen, so going to make that car as wide as possible. That will, I'm sure, allow Nick Yalurli to get in on the action. They've dropped now Tommy Priding, who's fallen away from their pace. Tommy having that really good battle with Christopher Zosling yesterday. You saw on the highlights replay at the start of today's broadcast the move that Christopher Zosling pulled off to get through and get fourth place, but what you didn't see was around about 12, 13 laps of Tommy Priding defending brilliantly the young rookie driver, the Austrian, from the Swiss driver Christopher Zosling. So it was a long time he managed to keep him behind, bearing in mind Christopher's been driving these Porsches now since 2014. So good effort from Tommy Priding, which has fallen away from the pace a little bit, but he's still comfortable in 6th place, nearly 7 seconds clear of Rettenbacher. So there you see the leader already through, Christian Engelhardt. Christopher Zosling holding on now, the gap's still just under 2 seconds, and again there you see number 1, the turquoise, white and blue car of Olsen getting close under braking to the orange, grey and black car rather of Michael Amamala. 87 is Amamala, and then this is the battle for the final place on the podium. Conrad Motorsport, Franz Conrad's team, having an excellent season so far. They lead the team standings after the first 3 races of the championship from MRS GT Racing, and then with their consistency, Team Deutsche Post by Project One are third in the team standings. Wolfgang Triller, Wolfgang Tan, the top 2 in the Class B standings, but with Wolfgang Tan out of the race, it should be an opportunity for Wolfgang Triller to extend his advantage. They were level on points coming into this race on 30 each, because Wolfgang Triller didn't pick up any points in race 2 at Hockenheim, but now Wolfgang, if he can hold on to second, maybe even win his class, he will extend his, or move into the proper lead of the Class B Championship. 16 out of the 24 laps now completed then in the race, and it's beginning to look a lot more comfortable for Christian Engelhardt, but a lot less comfortable for Michael Amamala. Dennis Olsen has preserved the tyres well, I think, hasn't he, Alex?
Yeah, it's looked like he's getting really, really close to Michael Amamala. He's putting some decent pressure on him, and we might to see how it develops in the next lap. If he gets really a chance to pass Michael Amamala. Of course, Michael Amamala is a driver with plenty of experience. He knows how to defend his position really well. But we already saw in Hockenheim there was no way to him to block Dennis Olsen to go through, and he lost 2 times the first place on the race. So we'll see now if Dennis Olsen pull another brilliant overtaking maneuver and he can manage to pass Michael Amamala.
Yeah, Dennis was the top rookie last year in the Porsche Carrera Cup at Deutschland. Finished 3rd overall behind Sven Muller, who won, and Christian Engelhardt, who for the 3rd time in 4 years finished 2nd in the championship. So Porsche junior driver Dennis Olsen showing his worth here. 4th place though. I think it'd take too big a risk though, really, knowing that he's the championship leader and knowing that, you know, 4th place is still good points, and he's only going to lose a couple of points to Michael Amamala, who's only 1 position ahead of him. So sometimes when you're in the position of leading a race or leading a championship, you have to think about perhaps safety sometimes and not taking such a big risk.
Yeah, exactly. You need to always think cold and try to not make any too early or unpredicted maneuver, because if you are battling for a championship, you want to get every point. It's much better to get a 4th place, the points for 4th place, than go home with 0. When we see Christian Engelhardt is almost away, he opening the gap lap by lap to Christopher Sokli in the one, which is losing sometimes in the last lap. So Mikael Ammermuller is also getting really close getting closer and closer to Christopher Sokli. So we might see also in the last lap a battle for 2nd and 3rd position.
3/4 of the way through. There is Luca Rettenbach at number 3, another of the Conrad drivers. Bit of a lock-up from him. Piana close behind in the number 4 car in 8th place. There's Skoog in 9th and Holtman in 10th. And there's Max van Splunter had his own lock-up a while ago, which is why he's out of the top 10 now in 11th place. But with Ryan Cullen getting ever closer to him, like in the blue, black and white number 26 car. Irish driver racing with the Race Union Huber racing team, another very experienced Porsche outfit. Slight undulation there as they come out of turn 6 and rejoin the tri-oval, and they come back off it, back into the infield section, left through turn 6 into a big sweeping right-hander at turn 7. Turn 7 looks like quite an important corner, this big right-hander, because it takes you onto the middle straight, so you need to get a good exit there, I guess. Yeah, it's a really fast corner. We see now Wolfgang Trillen trying to overtake Carlos Rivas, challenge for the 1st position of the Amateur Cup, the B Cup, B class. So Carlos Rivas, leader of the championship at the moment. Wolfgang Thriller trying to squeeze in there, using all the racetrack, left, right. Carlos Rivas defending on the inside, but needs to make this car as wide as possible. Doing a good job. Wolfgang Triller came into Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland last year and won his first attempt. Class B is there just behind in the black and sort of luminous yellow car, the number 13 car. That is Wolfgang, co-leader in the points, but with Wolfgang out of the race, as I say, should be moving into the points lead. Carlos Rivas, though, fending him off nicely. The Luxembourg-based driver did some Porsche Supercut racing last year, but mainly has been racing in the GT3 Cup Challenge, the Benelux Challenge, which has been a top 4 finisher for 2 years running. Raced a bit of Porsches in France a few years ago, about 5 years ago in the Porsche Carrera Cup, the French version of this championship, and doing well to keep Wolfgang Triller behind him. So a good battle this, as Alex says, for the lead of the AM class, Class B, which has its own separate points system and own trophies as well. They'll have their own separate podium at the end of the race. They're well clear now, 13.5 seconds clear of 3rd in the class, which is Matthias Jesserich. So that gap's grown from 7 to over 12 seconds in the last 3 or 4 laps. Jesserich, though, is 20 seconds clear of 4th in the class, which is Stefan Reckhoff, number 33. Engelhardt's gone through. He's still lapping very quickly, isn't he? 125.2. I mean, I think his best is a 125.0, isn't it? So he's still keeping the consistency there. Mikael Ammermuller is still having to fend off Dennis Olsen, though. This is the battle for 3rd place. Nick Ialoli is right with them. Nick getting better and better with each race. It's his 2nd season in the championship, having been up in the top 6 last year. Doing a good job hanging on to them. Saw some oversteer going out of the corner for Dennis Olsen, so might be struggling a bit with the traction. When you're in such a position, it's not so easy, because you want to attack the guy in the front, but you also need to take care of the guy in the back. So you need to kind of look to the front, look in the mirrors, do your rhythm. We see now Christian Engelhardt lapping our girl, the only girl on the grid. Asman doing a good job there to stay out of the way, stay to the side of the track, make it obvious which way Christian should come through. She knows that the others will be coming up to lap the other leaders fairly shortly. Number 1, Dennis Olsen. The champion himself last year, that's not why he's got number 1. It's the team that won the championship, that's Sven Muller, but maybe he'll be having that number 1 for his own name at the end of the season. There's a very long way to go, though. After the Lausitz Ring, go to the Red Bull Ring, to Spielberg, the Norris Ring, the street circuit in the summer, the Nürburgring, Sachsenring, and then back to Hockenheim to round out the season. And Dennis Olsen trying to dive, showing the nose a bit to Mikael Ammermuller. It's not there yet. It was half a move, wasn't it? Thought he was going to go for it at one point, but Dennis Olsen just backing off out of it, but just applying the pressure now to Mikael Ammermuller. He's definitely the quicker of the two at the moment, isn't he? But he's not feeling too much pressure from Nick Ialoli behind. So So maybe the traffic might provide an opportunity if they get up to a couple of back markers.
It's always a difficult situation when you are front. You want the traffic to pull away. Sometimes they don't see the blue flag, so they try to give you the freeway, but it's not the best situation, and then the guy in the back can have a benefit. We'll see if they can respect good the blue flags. We saw already Christopher Zöckling flashing the lights. It's quite funny when you see Christopher Zöckling driving on the Carrera Cup. He's always the only driver who has the lights on.
All the time.
See Philipp Sager and Stefan Rehkopf have a small loft up.
And that were the two cars that nearly took each other out earlier.
Yeah.
Philipp Sager had a spin and almost span into the 33 Stefan Rehkopf car, and then there is contact this time. A bit too close for comfort. Right, Olsen's close again. He's better length back. Probably a bit too far back to have a go.
Trying now. Christopher Zöckling getting clear of the traffic. No. Michael Müller keeps Dennis Olsen behind. Now they're catching the traffic. Oh, will this give a chance? Some locking for Christopher Zöckling, which goes outside. Oh, and this gives a position to Michael Müller, who takes the inside line of Christopher Zöckling. Zöckling is now pushing Michael Müller to the inside.
And right on the outside.
Locking a bit, pushing a bit. Dennis Olsen gets this traffic away. Dennis Olsen gets now the inside line of Müller into the fast corner. Müller stays behind. Exactly what he predicted. The traffic played here a big role. And then Dennis Olsen is getting close to Christopher Zöckling. Will he try to maybe catch him for second place? Müller is also, he won't be happy now.
That was smart driving from Dennis Olsen. As they were battling through the traffic, the other two, he just took a breather back. He gave himself half a car length, went to the high line, the outside line, and then got a much better, quicker run coming through the corner because he wasn't delayed by the traffic. But we've got a safety car, or at least yellow, somewhere around the circuit. This is shown by the graphic on your screen. So somebody has had a moment, I'm afraid. But very smart driving that from Dennis Olsen. So I'll be well pleased if we can pick up a podium finish here to add to his 3 wins. As you say, Michael Müller is going to be disgruntled. It was almost an opportunity for him to get second place. Zöckling was the one that was held up most in the traffic, but he really did defend well. He wasn't going to let through. Michael Müller taking a bit of curb there and getting the back end stepping slightly out of shape was Dennis Olsen. Zöckling doing a great job. He's just got to hang on to this for one more lap now.
Here we have a car in the gravel at corner number 8, turn number 8. It's yellow flag. We will not have a drive safety car. We will see now again the maneuver. Christopher Zöckling has an issue with the traffic. Müller tried to push some pressure on him to battle for second position, but then he lost here on the outside to Dennis Olsen, who made a brilliant maneuver on the outside and get the 3rd place of the last step of the podium.
Yeah, terrific driving that. Müller took the risk to go second, didn't pay off, so again he's going to lose points to the championship leader, which would be even more frustrating that the one that got past him was his championship rival. But this driver, Christian Engelhardt's been a classy driver in the Porsche Carrera Cup for several years now, for 5 years, and this is going to be an important victory because it will be the first in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland for the Black Falcon team. The checkered flag awaits. It's been a supreme drive. Christian Engelhardt wins here at the Lausitz Ring. It's going to be tight for second, but taking his best finish of the season so far. Second place to Christopher Zöckling. 3rd place goes to Dennis Olsen. On the podium again for the championship leader. Michael Müller losing out in the traffic 4th. And then 5th place going to Nick Yaloli. Crossing the line in 6th place now is Tommy Preining. So the Black Falcon team absolutely delighted that. They are well used to picking up trophies and taking wins, but this will mean a lot to score a victory so early in their Porsche career.
Yeah, I'm really happy for them. I mean, it's my second family, so really happy to see them on the podium. They did a brilliant job. We know Christian Engelhardt is a really experienced driver. He knows how to drive those cars, but today also nowadays with such a car which have so much technique, also you need to have a really good technique team behind. And I know Nico Dreidiger is the team chef at this moment. He's in charge of doing all the setup. It's a massive experience. We see also they are taking now also the win in the B class, so happy day today for Black Falcon. Yeah. I know Alex Böhm, the team boss, my team boss as well, he will be really happy at home, so I'm really happy for them. They did a brilliant job, they deserve it. And I hope we can keep this vibe up for next week, the 24 hours.
Sets you up nicely for the 24 hours next week, doesn't it? Absolutely perfect. And, well, going a bit what the first mistake he's made, Christian Engelhardt, going off into the gravel almost there.
Yeah, picking some extra weight.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we saw, as you say, Carlos Rivas actually pulled away from Wolfgang Triller at the end. Last time we saw them, they were nose to tail, about 3 laps from the end of the race, but tremendous effort. The one that went off in the gravel, now you can see him out of the car now, was Stefan Raykop, who had a few moments in that race, didn't he, in the number 33 car. That was when the yellows were out for the last lap and a half of the race. There are the results then. Christian Engelhardt wins by 5.6 seconds from Christopher Zoschling. Dennis Olsen extends his championship lead, though, in third. Mikael Ammermuller, Nick Yeloli, Tommy Preining running out the top 6. Then it was Rettenbacher, 7th, Piana in 8th, Skog in 9th, the ex-Swedish Renault Clio champion, and rounding out the top 10 was David Kottman. Ryan Cullen in 11th place, getting ahead of Max van Splunter later on and putting away from him. And we saw Kim Andre Hauschild crossing the line, only just clear of the number 11 machine of Richard Gonda, those two battling hard for 13th and 14th place. And then 15th was the winner of Class B, which was Carlos Rivas for Black Falcon, so double victory for Black Falcon. Wolfgang Trilling second in Class B, but moving into the points lead now with Wolf Natan out early. And then third place, the other driver to come onto the podium will be Matthias Ciesarik for Hubert Racing in Class B. We see both podiums for classes A and B. But the front runners now making their way into the pit lane, and there's going to be some big celebrations, I reckon, Alex, when Mr. Engelhardt gets out of the car. He's greeted by the team. So super drive by Christian. And say there's a lot of pressure on him at the start because he knew how to get that start absolutely right. You said they'd been struggling with the clutch a little bit, but it was perfect, wasn't it? Great getaway. Yeah,
really good start from Christian Engelhardt. Was solid from the beginning. He kept his position. He defended really good his position from Christopher Söckling, and then he put the hammer down. I guess also, like I was saying before, they have a really good technical assist, Black Falcon. So they had a car that was thought for the long race, not for the sprint race. So maybe they put some of the endurance knowledge into that car. But yeah, we saw the pace was really strong pace from Christian Engelhardt towards the end of the race. So happy for them. And this put him, even he was missing the first race in Hockenheim, is now P4 in the championship.
Yeah. And is the plan to do the whole season, do you know, for Christian, now that he's joined it?
Yeah, he's planned to do the full season, definitely, but he has some clashes, I think, with Blancpain.
Right.
And he needs to attend his races with Lamborghini works drivers, his Lamborghini official driver. So that's why I think, I'm not sure if it's missing an order of the appointment, I cannot tell, but I think it's some other clash.
So it won't be
year, so I think
the full season.
Yeah, he won't be able to do the full season, but yeah, happy to see Black Falcon cheering first win in the second event of the year. So good for them, good job.
Yeah, not bad. A pole position and a win from the weekend for them, and
good.
A podium finish as well.
Good job also, happy Franz Conrad, good job also Nils Olsen in those last lap, clearing the traffic, getting the position away. Mikael Ammermuller won't be so happy, I guess, losing that step on the podium in the last minutes of the race. But that's racing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just circumstance, wasn't it, with the traffic? It almost gave him an opportunity. He almost got second place in the end. He dropped to fourth, but yeah, just slightly unlucky there. Still having a good season, but as I say, be frustrated that the one that nicked the podium away from him is the one person he wanted to make sure was behind him in the championship. There's Christopher Zoschling going through the race, telling everybody what happened. Really good at the start, wasn't he, Christopher Zoschling? He really did try to get the lead away from Christian Engelhardt for the first 4 or 5 laps. But here are some slow-mos of our top 3. Dennis Olsen, that's 3 wins and a third now from the 4 races. Cracking start to the season for a Norwegian driver. He leads the championship, as you saw in the graphic a few minutes ago. Christopher Zoschling moves up into the top 3 in the championship. Terrific drive in the number 15 at MRS GT Racing car, the team which are second in the team's championship. Christopher with a very good weekend, excellent entertaining drive and battle against Tommy Preining yesterday for 4th. And from the front row of the grid, he manages to hold on to second spot in this race. But it was all about Christian Engelhardt. Perfect start to the race. Had to defend for a few laps, as I say, from Christopher Zoschling, but he did so very impressively indeed. And then what was even more impressive was the consistent pace that he showed all the way through the race. He was lapping almost as quick at the end of the race as he was at the start of the race, and nobody else was able to do that. And that is why he's been a front runner in the championship. That is why he's a works Lamborghini driver as well. And he will be competing in a few days' time, the Nürburgring 24-hour race to try and get another good result with the team. So there are the top 3 cars. We'll have the overall podium for Engelhardt, Zosling and Olsen. We'll have Rivas, Trilling and also Jesserik on the podium for Class B. And they're now being shepherded up to the podium. First one at the top of the steps, looking remarkably fresh for one that's been racing hard for the last half an hour or so, is Christian Engelhardt. Waits for the others to catch up. Zosling there, the tall driver to the left, and just getting his race suit zipped back up. That's Dennis Olsen, the Porsche Junior driver, who's also up onto the podium. Quite a few stairs to climb here. Bottle of water, much needed. I don't think I'd look quite so fresh if I got out of a Porsche after doing all that. Looks like he's maybe just had a mild jog for 5 minutes rather than been through what is a very physical, as Alex has been saying, very physically demanding circuit. Bechtel doing the live podium presentations. He's about to call them up. Super fit, these guys, as Alex was saying yesterday. Huge amounts of work in the gym, with nutrition as well. Experts looking after these top drivers. Excellent weekend for Christopher Zosling, certainly having his best start to the season so far. Christian Engelhardt, incredibly, after missing the first round, 4th of the championship after this weekend's results. The podium yesterday, and the top step of the podium today for Black Falcon for the first time, the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. The team cheer their man, Christian Engelhardt, up onto the very top step. And you can see what it means to him to take the victory. Brilliant drive and good sportsmanship between him. Smiles all around between him and Christopher Zosling, who will be delighted, I think, with his 2nd place finish. He couldn't have tried any harder, that's for sure. But the Porsche Junior driver, Dennis Olsen, will be very pleased with 3rd place and more points as we get our winners' national anthem. The German national anthem sounds out, and there is a warm round of applause from down below. Not just from Black Falcon team, also you saw Franz Conrad there in the middle, always smiling. Hugely experienced team, defending champions, of course. The silverware is raised aloft by your race winner for today. Tremendous drive by Christian Engelhardt. And a great effort this weekend by the most entertaining driver on the track, for sure. Christopher Zosling, tremendous 2nd place finish there to add to the 4th place he got yesterday. And the trophy for 3rd place, after getting late on, another one that preserved his tyre as well. The championship leader he will be after the first 4 races of the season. He's just got to keep it going now for another, 10 races, and he'll be the champion. But a very, very good start for the very quick Dennis Olsen, who has a bright, bright future ahead of him, absolutely. It's early in the morning, but they haven't got to do any more racing now, so it's champagne time for our top 3, overall top 3. And you can tell they've all done this before. Well deserved, and a brilliant performance. Always nice to see either a driver or a team picking up their first win. It's not the first win for Black Falcon, they've had many wins in endurance races, but it's their first win in this championship. Always nice to see. So while we wait for Class B podium, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the 2nd race of the weekend here at the Lausitzring. And now it's time for our Class B podium. There's Wolfgang Triller, not on the top step of the podium, but he is atop the championship standings now for the first 4 races, defending his title. And we get our winner's national anthem now.